difficulties for a moment. But I'm bringing you today's commentary on the original teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. And what I've been doing is going through Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The Path, in those chapters where he talks about his time living with Yogananda. And today's reading is, he says, "In fact, I knew a disciple who at one time had been an alcoholic. He took kriya yoga initiation from the master and thereafter practiced the technique quite literally with a bottle of whiskey in one hand and his prayer beads in the other. In time, he found so much enjoyment in kriya practice that one day, halfway through his meditation, he set the bottle disdainfully aside and never touched it again." I think this is such a helpful bit of teaching, because what he's saying is both and. I've seen it through the years where so many people will say to me, I will have more time for meditation when my children are off to college and on their own, or I will have more time for meditation when I'm retired from this very busy job, and so on and so on. And so there's a delay that takes place, an inertia that sets in, so that by the time this situation actually happens for them, they don't have the willpower to begin their practice then. And it's so important for us to remember that God is within us, the divine is within us, and therefore in every part of our day, 24 hours a day. And so to have a practice, even if it's a little practice, but still a practice, brings us into remembrance of that and brings a flow of grace into our activity, so that even though we think we don't have time, we maybe actually don't have time, what happens is a window of grace opens up, and we find that we can be meditating even a little bit each day. We don't require perhaps quite as much sleep as we think we require, because what happens, and I know I've seen this happen for myself, I've experienced it, that the more I meditate, the less I need to sleep. Because on a very deep level, when we meditate, we are refreshed. We are rested, as we like to think of it, but we really are refreshed. And so it slows down the reactive process. Suddenly we find we can be more efficient with our time, and voila, there we have it. We do have the time, and we can move forward. I remember when I was exhausted as a young mother, nursing around the clock my little babies, and in my case, both of our children were relatively small, relatively light in weight, and then they need to bulk up for a period of time, for a few months, to get stable. And so they're just nursing. Mine were just nursing around the clock. And at one point, in a state of exhaustion, I happened to see Ananda to pass him in the community, and he asked me how I was doing, and I said that I'm just exhausted from nursing all the time and that it was difficult while you're nursing. And I thought, why didn't I think of that? You know, you get so tired that, and this is whether you're nursing or whether you're super busy at work or whether you're raising a family and running around like crazy, whether you're, no matter what, you know, fill in the blanks. We get so tired that we get brain fog and we forget that we can do, and that in doing so, like this man who was trying to kick the very, very difficult habit of alcohol addiction, he prayed and he kept his prayer and his practice while at the same time having this incredibly strong pull and attachment. And he just kept working at it until it came to a point where one ecstasy way outshined the other experience of a false ecstasy. And he clung to his spiritual life, and the rest fell away. I'm not saying that it's easy, and I'm not saying that that can happen for everyone, and that there isn't a place for lots of other work to overcome very difficult habits. But I am saying that the spiritual practice of both and of bringing God, knowing that the divine is within us now, and making ourselves cognizant of that reality, living in that remembrance, creates a flood of grace, an opening through which grace can then flow and fill more and more of our daily lives. Joy to you, and we will see you again tomorrow. Blessings.